Loss. Broadcasting from the ARN Racing Studios in Southern California. Broadcasting from the ARN Racing Studios in Southern California. A turn for media company. ARN Los Angeles. This is ARN, the American Racing Network, the Motorsports Authority. Now,
drivers, start your engine!
You're shifting gears on ARN with Alan Bailey.
Well, there goes the neighborhood.
You name it, we got it. NASCAR.
He's going to do it. He's going to win the race and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship. California's Kevin Harvick does it. Holy cow!
IndyCar.
Will Power is an IndyCar champion. Thank you so much.
Drag racing.
Jason line red lights and gives it away. Erica Ender-Stevens becomes the 17th champion in the history of funny car with a hammer down throw run.
Supercross.
Ken Roczen to the finish line. He wins the season opener here at Angel Stadium.
And so much more. So get ready. You're shifting gears on ARN with Alan Bailey.
That you are indeed. Welcome on in on this Thursday's edition of Shifting Gears on January 29th, 2015. Shifting Gears number 204 coming at you here on the American Racing Network. I'm Alan Bailey. You can follow me Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the Alan Bailey. You can also use the hashtag ARNRace in order to get in on this conversation as well. Lots of stuff to talk about over the course of the next hour. First things first, Brett Metcalfe, 450 rider in Supercross, going to be joining us in about 30 minutes. I caught up with him out at Angel Stadium a little while ago. We'll play that for you in about 30 minutes. Ben Lamay going to be catching up with us as well. Caught up with him out at Supercross earlier today as well. So check those out in about 15 minutes and in about 30 minutes here on ARN. Also, coming up on the program today, we're going to obviously dive into Supercross. Ken Roczen going down is a big story. The fact that Dean Wilson is going to be out 6 months, we found that out on Instagram earlier today, and he's in a pretty good amount of pain, hoping that he actually gets through some of these pains pretty easily here and quickly. So we're sending our best to Dean Wilson tonight on the American Racing Network. Get well soon, buddy. Also, NHRA, John Force dropped a little bit of a hint that maybe, just maybe, he's not done signing sponsors, and we kind of knew that. This one, though, is a little kind of, ooh, are you stealing a sponsor kind of scandalous kind of stuff. We'll play that sound for you. Baptism by Nitros, the new not a hashtag, but it's the new saying. I've been saying it for years, so where's my cut of the pie? But I don't know. We'll get into what it is. Winter Nationals are next weekend, so we'll definitely talk a little drag racing. NASCAR is going to be a main focus today on the program. The reason being, Chase Elliott making a big splash. It was announced today from Hendrick Motorsports, a week after Jeff Gordon announced his retirement, that Chase Elliott will be driving that 24 car in 2016. We knew that was going to happen, but it's official now. He's going to be running 5 races at least in 2015 in the number 25 Napa Chevrolet. So what comes of those 5 races, we don't know. Chase Elliott weighs in on driving the number 24, and it is going to be the number 24 after Jeff Gordon hangs it up. So they're not retiring the number. They're not changing the number. They're keeping with 24. Alan Gustafson going to be on the car as well, on the top of the pit box, as well as the crew chief there. Jeb Burton, rather, looking for sponsorship and a ride. Sponsorship took him out of his ride. We'll get into that. Darrell Wallace also looking for sponsorship, but he's working with some pretty powerful people in the sports world in order to try to find some, and yeah, we'll get into it. The Wood brothers kind of dropped a bombshell today, adding some races. We'll get you that in a little bit. And I have an open letter for Mr. Joey Logano. Joey, seriously, bud, we're going to talk. We're going to talk, Joey. I got to write him a letter. And we're also going to have Throwback Thursday in a little bit for you. But I truly want to start with this. Chase Elliott, really, I mean, initial thoughts of him driving the 24 car, yeah, we knew this was going to happen. We really did. If you didn't, then you're crazy. The reason I say that is because we all kind of knew he was going to make it into Cup at some point in the near future. And to be perfectly honest, I would have been surprised if this didn't happen. It's one of the most obvious moves I think we've ever seen in NASCAR. And no, I'm not saying Rick Hendrick is breaking ground for this one. I'm just saying that it's kind of a no-brainer if you're Rick Hendrick and Jeff Gordon. Who else would you put in that 24 car? What, are you going to go hire Carl Edwards? No, he signed away. What, are you going to hire another big-name driver? Like who? Kyle's under contract. You're not going to sign him. You're not going to sign Denny Hamlin. You're not going to sign Matt Kenseth. And those guys are on the back burner of their careers anyway. Go get another 18-year-old kid that's going to set the world on fire. And that's exactly what Chase Elliott is. He just won the Nationwide Championship, and bear in mind, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Hendrick is shoving him out. Meh, meh, meh. My favorite so far on Facebook is coming from Bob Westfall. I'm really trying to believe that Hendrick isn't forcing Jeff out for Elliott, but part of me thinks Hendrick was afraid to lose Elliott like he lost Keselowski. I may not root for Hendrick Motorsports next year. Bob, and to anybody who's thinking that Rick Hendrick is forcing Jeff Gordon out, no. Just simply no. He's not. Jeff wanted out of the car. He's wanted out of the car for a little while now, but Rick keeps bringing him back. That's what he's saying, and I believe it. Looking at Jeff, listening to Jeff, he's being shorter with the media. He's not taking his time doing things. He's very much not liking his time at the track. Am I saying he's miserable? No. I just don't think he's enjoying some of the aspects of this job. You look at it. There are fun parts of this job. There are bad parts of this job. The fun part, obviously, for him is racing that car. It's getting in that car and doing what he loves. Obviously, the sponsor stuff, answering the same questions for the media, all that kind of stuff, and selling your sponsors and your products, that stuff isn't fun. I mean, you're going to go out there and you do it because it's part of your job as, you know, the face of any sponsor and any corporation is to sell that brand and to earn that paycheck, so to speak. But at the same time, to put it bluntly, you just don't want to do it. And no, I don't blame Jeff. I don't blame him one tiny bit. But at the same time, go out there and do your job. It's what you're paid for. You have to. You truly, truly do. But honestly, Jeff does his job. I just think he's tired of it. He's been doing it for 23 years. Maybe, just maybe, it's time for him to enjoy the time with his family. You know? He's got two wonderful kids there, two beautiful kids. He's going to go out there and he's going to have some fun, and he's going to enjoy his retirement. I don't know what's wrong with that, and people are trying to look past it and think, well, he's only 40-something, blah, blah, blah. Mark Martin was 50-something, blah, blah, blah. Mark started racing in NASCAR when he was in his 30s. Mark put in his 25. Jeff's going to put in 23. That's about all you need in any job. Plus, and I'm being totally honest here, if you could retire at 44 years old, wouldn't you do it? Really? Wouldn't you? And the fact that you're one of the richest athletes in the world, yeah, that makes me want to retire early too. It really does. It really does. This one from Jim Foose on Twitter, I kind of like this one. All those losers in NASCAR, Jeff Gordon retiring, the souvenir haulers going away. What's next? Electric cars? Well, this is breaking news. Tesla is testing a NASCAR stock car to race. Prius is next. No. I don't know. That might be a future, actually. I seriously wouldn't see it past NASCAR in 20, 30 years, what have you, putting electric cars on the racetrack, not in the Cup Series, but maybe its own subdivision, like, you know, what is now the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series. I don't know. It can happen. I highly, highly, highly doubt that, though. Jim, just relax. Calm down. Deep breaths. You got this. So a lot of stuff to cover on the program today. Obviously, like I said, we're going to talk some Supercross. Shifting gears here a little bit, looking at Kent Roczen's crash over the weekend, all I can say is, ugh. I mean, is there any other word to describe it? There's no other adjective that I can seriously think about other than, ugh. I mean, congratulations to Team Honda's Trey Canard for winning the Monster Energy Supercross event out there this weekend. But, I seriously picked Ken Roczen to go ahead and win the title this year. I seriously did. He's going to win the title this year, and he's going to win a majority of the races. I truly think he's good. I think he's there. And he was right there near the front. He just made a teeny mistake, and it cost him. But, I mean, he went through a double, he went through a triple, he missed the triple, and he landed in such a position. The bike was nose up, it landed on the back tire, and basically the bike and everything came to a complete stop. Momentum didn't go forward, nothing. Just stop. And his body went down and made hard contact with that bike. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I mean, seriously. Not only do you hit the the crotchlar region there, for lack of a better term, but also you hit your chest, you hit your lower stomach, you hit your upper stomach, you hit your chest. All of that just kind of compacts your arms, everything, and it comes to a complete stop. Just a complete stop. Your entire body weight and the weight of the bike going up, it almost split him in half. My goodness, seriously. That was bad. That was just bad. But seriously, first Monster Energy race of the 2015, and he won it. Seriously, congratulations to him, and congratulations to Malcolm Stewart, who captured the 250. Honestly, I'm a little surprised it took Malcolm Stewart this long to get one. I really am, because the kid knows what he's doing. He's really good, I think, and I don't know, he's just always been near the top. He's always been right there and just been making stupid mistakes. The long run seems to be a little bit difficult for him, but you look at the O.co Stadium out there, it truly was cool to see everything going crazy for him, for Malcolm Stewart out there. I love what his brother said. Malcolm got off the bike and he immediately thanked his brother for helping him out, and his brother immediately got on Instagram and said, "Nope, all you, dude. All you. I'm just along for the ride." That was very cool. James Stewart, obviously not racing this year due to another controversy that we won't get into. But Roxon's crash did allow Reed in order to basically get around there, and Trey got through there too. So, yeah, it was interesting. I thought it was interesting that Cole Seeley moved into third place on lap 4 right there and went ahead and just pulled around. I thought that was just an interesting exchange, an interesting time of the race, that beginning part right there. Very, very cool. But honestly, it was Trey Kennard, Ryan Dungey, and Chad Reed on the podium. Eli Tomac, Cole Steely right there in your top 5, followed by Justin Barsha, Blake Baggett, and Davey Millsap, Andrew Short, and Jason Anderson, your top 10 in the 450 class out in Oakland. You look at the standings, Dungey taking over the lead from Roxon, who crashed out on the Suzuki. He has 82 points, Dungey does. Roxon is 78 markers back right now, so he's still right there in the thick of things, but it is a little more difficult. It's a little more challenging at the moment. Kennard right now sits third in the standings, Eli Tomac fourth, and Jason Anderson fifth. So this is Dungey Roxon at the moment, because there is a little bit of a gap between Roxon and Dungey. You look at the 250 results from the West 250 results from Oakland. Obviously, Malcolm Stewart picking up the victory on the Honda. You had Cooper Webb on the Yamaha picking up second, and Alex Martin picking up third right there. Also, you had Tyler Bowers from Corona, not too far from our studios actually, on the Kawasaki in fourth, and you had Zach Bell, top 5 right there out in Oakland. You look at their standings, Cooper Webb is still leading Tyler Bowers right now by almost 10 points right now, 8 points actually. Jesse Nelson third, Zach Osborne fourth, Justin Hill fifth right now. Malcolm Stewart is sixth right now, if you're wondering, with that victory over the weekend. So we'll get into Supercross a little bit more. Like I said, coming up this hour, we're going to have Brett Metcalfe on the program as well. Also, Ben Lamay going to be on the program as well. We got a chance to catch up with them out at the stadium a little bit a while ago. Stadium's looking good. It really is, and I said it earlier to both of them. It's funny because every time Supercross has come to town, whether it has rained the week leading up to, and it's been kind of cloudy and muggy the weekend of Supercross being in town, all 3 weekends in 2015. It's very interesting. They're literally the bad luck charm for weather in Southern California. They've literally caused the rain for 3 weeks of our year in Southern California. I don't know how I feel about that, because Southern California is a sunny town. It never drops below 70, ever. And it has all 3 times that they've been in town. I'm just saying, I live in California for a reason. I love my nice weather. I don't do snow. I'm not a snow person. Seriously. This is not cool. I don't do this whole weather thing. And drivers on the freeway, especially the 91, they really don't do the whole wet thing, like, at all. But we'll go ahead and we will step aside right now. When we come back, however, we will be getting to a couple of riders. Ben Lamay coming at you next, followed by Brett Metcalfe coming up in about 15 minutes. When we return, Ben Lamay, 450 rider from Supercross, right here on ARN, the Motorsports Authority.
In your life, you seem to have it all. You seem to have control. But deep within your soul, you're losing, yeah. You never took the time. Assume that you're to blame. You think that you're insane. Won't you spare me? I know the breakdown.
Sick of bad race coverage or none at all from those other networks? Make ARN your one and only for all things motorsports. ARN, the Motorsports Authority.
Hey guys, it's Alan Bailey, and I wanted to tell you about when I first got started in broadcasting. Something that I tried to do was I tried to build my own website with one of these free website builders, and it was really bad. I ended up spending hours and hours working on this site, and I didn't get it the way I wanted. I hated the colors, I hated the options, I hated everything about it, but I needed a website. So reluctantly, I launched the website, and it wasn't good. I didn't get any business or any traction from it. The website was horrible. In order to put a .com on there, I had to pay all these huge fees and all these hidden fees. Once I got past all the fees, it would have been thousands and thousands of dollars for just a very simple website. So I ended up taking it offline. Fast forward years later, I called Apollo Aesthetics. When I was getting ready to build my personal website, I decided to heck with it. I'll spend the money. And I didn't care how much it was, anticipating spending thousands and thousands of dollars. And then, when I got the quote from Apollo Aesthetics, boy was I shocked, because the price was super, super low. Monthly payments with a low down payment. I gotta tell you, I've had such a pleasant experience. I'm not building any other websites. I've learned my lesson. I'm going straight to Apollo Aesthetics so they can build it right and they can do everything that I need. Whether you're looking to build a website, design a logo, figure out your hosting, your emails, and social media accounts, Apollo Aesthetics can help you with all of these, including building a shop for you to sell your product online. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to request a quote. That's apolloaesthetics.com.
I'm so glad we left that stupid party.
No joke.
Hey, baby, are you an overdue library book? Because you got fine written all over you.
Oh, barf. What about that girl with the hoop earrings?
Ridiculous. When she was dancing...
Megan, look out! Look out!
Oh my God, Becky. Becky, are you okay? My arm. I think it's broken. Can you bend it? It's already bent. In the wrong direction. I can't believe this. I'm so sorry. I only had a few drinks. I was just buzzed.
Really? Just buzzed?
Yeah, I swear.
Well, in that case, my arm is fine. Ah, that's better.
You're really okay? You're serious, Becky?
No, genius. I'm not serious.
Ow! My arm, it hurts.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
Shifting Gears on ARN is powered by Apollo Aesthetics. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to get a quote for your new website today. You're shifting gears on ARN. Here's Alan Bailey.
Out here for Anaheim 3 out in Angel Stadium, I'm here with Ben Lamar, and looking at everything that's going on in Supercross in 2015, we've seen a great season so far, and it's definitely living up to the who's next hype that we're using on social media this year.
Yeah, it's been a really great season. The competition is definitely the hardest it's ever been, and there's some really, really fast riders. I ride in the 450 class, so I'm in the elite group of riders, and you know, I've been up front, and it's been fun racing against everyone.
And you look at everything that's going on, just some of the things that have happened this year. Obviously, a big story was the fact that we saw Ken Roxon go down last week, and
Really, those hits, particularly the one he took, that was a hard hit that he took.
Yeah, those are always ones that you don't want to do, especially on the triple, because those are the biggest jump out there. And when you come up short like that, it's pretty much just hold on and hope for the best kind of thing, you know. So I've had a couple of those. I think everyone's had a couple of those hits before in their career. So it's definitely not a good feeling, and I know he's pretty sore after that. But he's to do motocross, you got to be tough, so you got to kind of just brush it off and move on.
Well, no doubt about it. You guys are in impeccable shape. You got to be young. You got to be fit, and your body takes a beating when you're out there, just riding in general. But particularly when you're in 450, it seems like you're putting your body through hell and back.
Yeah. During the week, you know, is the time of work and prepare yourself for the weekend. You know, generally speaking, Monday through Friday is the work, and Saturday and Sunday is kind of the play day, and so. You know, you prepare yourself to do the best you can on the race day, and that's when you got to be fit and ready for anything that gets thrown at you.
And you talk about your prep during the week. We just saw Dean Wilson. He got hurt practicing during the week. He's going to be out for 6 months. How do you approach practicing? Do you kind of go into it thinking, okay, I'm only going to go 70, 80%, or is it no different than when you're practicing during the week than when you're out there on Saturday night?
You know, that's always something tough to juggle around. You gotta push your limits to be able to get better, and that's the only way to get better is just to try harder and to reach new boundaries. But then again, you're also, you know, you're pushing that edge of crashing, you know, going places that you're scared to do, and that's I think what happened. You just made a dumb mistake, and you know, unfortunately those things happen. You know, I've gotten hurt last year, kind of the same thing, and you just gotta kind of take the chances, but. Sometimes, yeah, some days you go out and you just want to run a 70, 80% day, you know, just get seat time and just to be riding, and then some days you really want to push your edge.
How do you know where that edge is? Do you just kind of have to listen to your body, okay, I'm not feeling so well right now, hey, this is kind of sore, I got to back it down, or you just go out there and then you figure out where you are that day?
Yeah, I think, you know, for us professionals, we've done it our whole life, so we know everything's kind of second nature to us. So it kind of comes to you when you're out there, and you know where your comfort level is, and when you get up above that, you know where to stop and where to keep pushing. But it definitely it's a tough line to follow. You know, you gotta know your limit for sure. If you go too much, you're gonna crash, and it could be a big risk.
And you look at what's going on out here at Anaheim, it seems like every time Supercross comes back to Anaheim, weather, for some reason, is playing a little havoc on the track. We've had some rain this week. Do you think that's going to affect the way that the track is?
You know, I don't think so. Anaheim 3, you know, this is the third time here. Generally, the dirt isn't as good as, like, say, the first round, just because the dirt's been sitting here and we've ridden it more. It's been mixed around, all that. So the track conditions usually are a lot different, even though you're in the same stadium. So that kind of plays a factor. But, you know, the rain, I don't think it rained enough to really make a difference. But they were calling for maybe some rain tonight or tomorrow, so we'll kind of have to see how it is. But I think the track should be really good this weekend.
And looking at this track, we do see some big jumps out there, not as we saw like in the second one and not the first one, but this is a very different track than what we've seen the first 2 times that we've been here in Anaheim.
Yeah, so far so it looks really good. The biggest change is the start. They have a big elevation on the start. Usually it's just flat ground, you know, and this is the first round that they've actually had an elevated start where you have to drop in. So that's going to really throw everyone off their game. I think that's going to play a big factor.
What does that do for you when you start the race, just mentally and just the physics of it? What does it do that's different than a flat start?
Honestly, I mean, we don't really practice them that much, so you kind of just got to adapt to it and just do your best, really. I've done it a few times at some races, but, I mean, I think everyone's kind of going into it cold turkey. Like, nobody's really done a whole lot of them, so it's going to be kind of fair game for everyone.
Absolutely. Well, good luck in Anaheim 3. Good luck in 2015.
Thank you very much.
That was earlier today, and yeah, honestly, he brings up a great point. The thing that honestly is going to make this Anaheim different than the first 2, other than the fact that the first one wasn't as technical, it was more high speed. The second one got a little more technical. This one's really technical. They weren't done constructing the track, but based on the layout that we're seeing and just what I saw, and the track was about 75-80% complete when I was out there earlier today. honestly, it looks great. It truly does. But it's also very technical, so you're going to have to keep that in mind. But we'll see. But honestly, it's one of those things, another thing that they're doing, since, Anaheim, they have to try to give something different to the fans every time they come out here, because if they're running the same track or the same type of track, then it's kind of like, oh, okay, I saw this 2 weeks ago. Why would I want to come back again? And this one is very different. The reason being is that drop-down start. I didn't even know that it was going to happen until I got to the track earlier today, and I literally looked up and I went, wait a minute, that's elevated. Oh, we're doing an elevated. Oh, this is going to be good. And it truly is. It's one heck of a drop down too. It's not a little tiny little guy. It's pretty distinguished. It's pretty big. And obviously some guys were running just a handful of areas. They were doing some TV stuff for the morning news locally here in California, and they were running some of the track, and they had already created some very deep ruts. So I think that ruts are going to be playing a big part in this race, in particular this weekend, because those guys were only out there for maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes, give or take, just running a handful of back and forths. And yeah, it was a small section of the track, but honestly, it really got deep in those ruts. So I think that when it comes to the main especially, it's going to get very, very difficult. So we'll see what happens ultimately, but it's one of those things where you just kind of have to grit your teeth and get through it. But the drop down is going to be very dramatic for everybody, and like like Ben Lamay said right there, it's something that these guys don't do every day. So it's something different, it's a challenge, and it's something different for the fans, which I think is something that the fans want more often than not. And I like the thought of them starting up higher and coming down into the racetrack. It seems exciting, it seems thrilling, which is what we want as fans, right? I'm just saying. I kind of want that as a fan. Just saying. So what we'll do now is we will go to break. On the back end of this break, we'll be getting to Brett Metcalfe, who's I talked to earlier today as well. He had a number of things that were interesting in his conversation. Really, we were talking about the comparison between the quote-unquote old guys in racing to the quote-unquote new guys in racing, and how the old guys in racing, the more experienced veterans, excuse me, are a little bit better at this than the new guys are. So we'll get into that. Plus, again, we're going to be talking about a number of things, including, namely, John Force, who dropped a little bit of a sponsor hit. Chase Elliott going to be taking over that 24 car in 2016. Also, a couple of drivers looking for sponsors for 2015. We'll get into it. Plus, yes, Baptism by Nitro next weekend. We'll talk about it on Shifting Gears.
Take ARN anywhere. Download your favorite ARN programs on iTunes. Keyword search ARN and listen online at arnrace.com.
What is one NASCAR Unites wristband capable of doing? It can inspire a child to go farther in school. It can construct a brand new playground for kids who've never had one. It can introduce a child with a serious illness to his or her favorite NASCAR driver.
I'm Tony Stewart. I wear my band to Unite for Kids. Band together with me by logging on to www.nascar.com/unites to pledge your support.
Hey guys, it's Alan Bailey, and I wanted to tell you about when I first got started in broadcasting. Something that I tried to do was I tried to build my own website with one of these free website builders, and it was really bad. I ended up spending hours and hours working on this site, and I didn't get it the way I wanted. I hated the colors, I hated the options, I hated everything about it, but I needed a website. So reluctantly, I launched the website, and it wasn't good. I didn't get any business or any traction from it. The website was horrible. In order to put a .com on there, I had to pay all these huge fees and all these hidden fees. Once I got past all the fees, it would have been thousands and thousands of dollars for just a very simple website. So I ended up taking it offline. Fast forward years later, I called Apollo Aesthetics. When I was getting ready to build my personal website, I decided to heck with it. I'll spend the money. And I didn't care how much it was, anticipating spending thousands and thousands of dollars. And then, when I got the quote from Apollo Aesthetics, boy was I shocked, because the price was super, super low. Monthly payments with a low down payment. I gotta tell you, I've had such a pleasant experience. I'm not building any other websites. I've learned my lesson. I'm going straight to Apollo Aesthetics so they can build it right and they can do everything that I need. Whether you're looking to build a website, design a logo, figure out your hosting, your emails, and social media accounts, Apollo Aesthetics can help you with all of these, including building a shop for you to sell your product online. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to request a quote. That's apolloaesthetics.com.
Shifting Gears on ARN is powered by Apollo Aesthetics. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to get a quote for your new website today. You're shifting gears on ARN. Here's Alan Daly.
Out here getting ready for Anaheim 3, Brett Metcalfe here in Southern California. You look at everything that's going on in just Supercross in 2015. Quite a season so far, and we're only a handful of rounds in. Definitely living up to the Who's Next hashtag that they're using?
Oh, I think so. I mean, this series, this competitive field right now is, the question is who's next. So I think everything the way it's planned out with the leaders, you know, there's a little bit of a group pack, but then they've made some mistakes, and it's allowed a few other guys to sneak in there, and the points chase is tight. So, man, I think this field is so deep that anyone can have a great weekend. Any weekend, you know, something could happen. You sneak up in there, get a result, put yourself up in points. So I think excitement-wise, it's definitely high. You know, I think it's great. So we'll see how this plays out.
And you look at everything that happened last weekend in particular. I mean, Ken Roxon, he's kind of the guy who's setting Supercross on fire right now, and then made a teeny tiny mistake, and oops, there it goes.
I mean, and that's Supercross in a nutshell. I mean, any moment something could happen that's unexpected. So you just have to be on your toes, and there's a lot of young guys coming up to the class that bring a lot of speed and intensity, but then there's a handful of, you know, older guys that have the experience, and they're thinking about the championship. So there's a lot of different mindsets on the track right now, racing different strategies. So that's kind of what makes it interesting as well, and I think exciting as well, like you experienced last weekend. So, you know, how it unfolds is going to be a story I think everybody's looking to read about.
What do you think is going through the riders' heads? Because you look at it early on, Anaheim 1, we saw really young riders rather out there who were racing very fierce, but also very fair to each other. And in other situations, the veterans kind of going at it a little bit. So, what do you think is going through their heads? Do you think there's a sense of desperation, like, oh, you know, now is when I can go out there and strike. Now's my opportunity, or do you think it's just more or less business as usual?
Well, I think the field right now, it seems like a lot of people came in. A few people changed teams, manufacturers, they're learning. But it seems like, you know, a lot of people are wanting to strike and really push the envelope, but it's already taken a few guys out. So it's so difficult, this sport, to run the pace that you can comfortably and push yourself, but not over the edge. So, you know, it's tough to say, you know, how to go about it. Do you stay poised and keep your cool and keep racing, or you really push ahead and try and get in the points lead and go for it? So that's the beauty of this sport, you know, and it's so great this year having so many diversity of caliber riders too. So it's awesome.
Oh, I think there's no question. It's absolutely probably one of the most competitive seasons we've seen in, you know, a handful of years. But you look at it, you know, we had Dean Wilson. He went down in a practice run, and he's out for 6 months. And you look at it, what's the balance between practice and actual race condition? Do you approach them both the same, or do you kind of take it easy during the week?
Well, it's very difficult. Me personally, I don't push myself as hard as I would in a race, or take the kind of risks. I guess I would push the intensity to the level during practice that I would use in race, but I will not take the same kind of risk. If there's something that's really technical or that has a high risk factor, let's say for instance the whoops during practice during the week, you know, I won't attack them as if it's, you know, right now a make or break situation. I won't put myself in that position anymore. And you know, I'm 30, you know, got experience, so I know that. But these other young guys, they're still going to learn that. And 17 rounds of Supercross is vicious, man. It's so difficult to get through. And so all the testing, all the preseason training, everything kind of compiles into a big bag of pressure. So when things aren't going as well as you want to in racing, all of a sudden you find yourself putting yourself in these positions where you just want to take risks and, like, I've got to step up and go for it, and then bang, you're out. So it's so difficult as a rider to stay poised and keep your cool. Me personally, during the week I use it as training and practice. I keep reminding myself, this is practice. This is no points. There's no reward out here other than to improve, but you got to weigh up your options. So it's all about showing up Saturday night doing the race.
Absolutely, and you really look at just how these young guys are approaching it, and really Supercross, it's a young man's sport, quote unquote, but it abuses your body. Even going out there and just riding on the weekends, even, you're going through a beating. But what's it like for a guy like you, a veteran who has done this for a number of years? What's it like for you in the morning? Are you feeling a little achy, or how are you?
I mean, I feel good. I'm 30. I feel good. There's no doubt motocross, it's a tough sport, very, very physically demanding. Obviously, the injury factor is always there, but just the physical torture that we put our bodies through, yearly, is staggering. But you learn to recover better as you get older. It's like about recovery. When you're younger, it's all about attack, and then you can't continue to do that. So it's all about recovery. You look at the athletes in other sports, you study those guys, you see what's working. But it's all about just sustaining your energy, sustaining yourself for a season.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's a crazy world that we live in, because I'm talking to you. You're 30 years old. You're young by society's definitions, but in this world, that's a veteran.
And like the comment you made, it's a young man's game. As I'm a little older now, I disagree. It's actually, I think it's an older, smarter man's game, especially out here in Supercross. In this game, it's so calculated. It's equivalent to, if you're a golfer, it's like putting. Anyone can hack at the tee off, but then putting the ball in the hole is technical and it's tricky. So, and that's how it is out here. Everything's precise. It's got to come down to an art. So, man, I mean, it would be nice to be 20 again and have that, youthful exuberance. But at the maturity, you can't earn that. You just gotta. I guess you got to earn that for years of experience. So, I'm happy with where I'm at, and just got to, keep improving my season and see how it goes.
And on that note, do you think it is more, it's obviously to your advantage with the experience, but, I mean, you got to think these kids are coming out here and they're going 110 every lap, and they're eventually something's going to break, hopefully not literally. But for you, you kind of know, wait a minute, I got to take it easy here. You sense that kind of feeling?
No, I sense it, and you can see it in the results right now. I mean, there's a lot of young guys that aren't quite even making the night show, but then in qualifying, they're blazing fast. So it's experience that's able to get me through, get a few other guys through. It's just experience, so that's going to come for them later on. But, and that's just the evolution of the sport. Every 4 or 5 years, someone comes along, pushes the envelope, the speed's up, the bikes are getting better, the safety equipment's better. There's not as many sprained ankles, broken ankles, or wrists. The sport's evolving, and it's becoming safer and better. So that alone is pushing everything to a higher level. And so the young guys are pushing that. They're driving that level up all the time. So sometimes, it'll break, but there'll be 1 or 2 guys that just excel, and they take the bar to the next level.
There you go, and you're looking at, we're out here at Anaheim 3. We're getting ready for Anaheim 3 a couple days before the race. And it's our 3rd time out here this season. What's the main difference between this layout versus the other 2?
Well, typically how they'll start off with Feld, that they design the tracks with Dirtworks. Anaheim 1 will be a little bit easy. Everyone comes in all fired up. Season, the off season's done. Let's go racing. Everyone's hungry, and so they'll kind of build a little bit easier track generally. Not a big gnarly whoop section. Rhythm sections are kind of everyone can get through, no problem. Then as you go along, each weekend seems like it's getting more technical, more challenging. And then, this is the 3rd Anaheim now, so I think the guys are ready to ramp it up and build a little more technical track and challenge everybody. So I think this weekend we're in for a show.
And looking at the track so far, it's about 80% completed, give or take. What do you think of it so far, just looking at it from the outside?
Well, already it looks a little more technical. A couple more obstacles we haven't seen yet this year. I actually got to ride 7 a.m. this morning for press day, so we got to ride two sections of the track. And I think already those sections are a little more challenging than what we've faced so far anywhere on the season. So it's stepping up, it's ramping up, and that's good to see. Brings another element to the game, and hopefully my experience there will shine through. Maybe it won't. We'll find out tomorrow night, but Saturday night. So yeah, this track's gonna be good. Anaheim always packs out with fans. It's awesome here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, good luck on Saturday, and good luck in 2015.
Thanks, Alan. Thank you.
Yeah, talking to that guy was just awesome. That was a lot of fun right there. Seriously, honestly, you look at it, Anaheim has a lot of interesting things to offer. It really does. This weekend, I think, is going to be really good. If you haven't gotten your tickets for Saturday night, I encourage you to do so. Just go ahead and just go online and buy those tickets now, because truly, I think it's going to sell out. It's the last opportunity for the year for SoCal to see them. So it's very, very, very cool. Now, this story, shifting gears here a little bit, this story is interesting. It's kind of funny. Talking about NASCAR here, Joey Logano got married during the offseason, and his honeymoon was going great until he lost his wedding ring. Yeah. He said on Wednesday, quote, "I'm already on my second ring, but on the same girl. Ouch." How did he lose it? Basically, he lost it at the bottom of a creek in Costa Rica. Awesome. He said, quote, "But I have a backup. I had this one ready to go because I knew I was going to lose the first one, so I was ready when I got home," unquote. He married his longtime girlfriend, Brittany Bach, and said the ring, which was too big, came off while he was kayaking. Quote, "It's hard to know what size to get. It's made more laps around my finger than the Coke 600 already. I just keep spinning it," unquote. He says the marriage is going smoother, at least. So, Joey, seriously, dude. This is a crazy concept, but you can go get your finger sized out. You won't have to guess at your ring size. You just go you just go check it. So, you know what? I need to tell him this. Seriously, Joey Logano, you get this week's open letter. Dear Joey Logano, hey, it's Alan. Remember, you told me you hate cars and that you wreck them and you don't care about them because you're filthy, stinking rich. I know it's a crazy concept, but when you go to the jewelry store, instead of buying the biggest 3 there, in case you will lose one, you simply need to ask the guy to pull out the sizer in order to fit the ring to your finger. It's much less expensive than continuously buying rings, and somewhat of a crazy concept, but never the less, much more cost-effective in the future. And besides, buying rings like Skittles or Kit Kats simply will not do. See you in Daytona and in Vegas and in Auto Club in Fontana. P.S. Don't send anyone to the hospital this year. Sincerely yours, Alan Bailey. I'm literally mailing that as we speak. Keeping the U.S. Postal Service alive and breathing for some particular reason that is beyond me, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. What we'll go ahead and do now is we'll take our final break. We'll come back with Throwback Thursday because, well, this one, it's a good one. Like, a lot. It's pretty good. I'm not saying it's my favorite, but it's a very cool moment, nevertheless. So, on that note, don't go anywhere. You're shifting gears right here on ARN. That, my friends, is the Motorsports Authority.
Sick of bad race coverage or none at all from those other networks? Make ARN your one and only for all things motorsports. ARN, the Motorsports Authority.
Hey guys, it's Alan Bailey, and I wanted to tell you about when I first got started in broadcasting. Something that I tried to do was I tried to build my own website with one of these free website builders, and it was really bad. I ended up spending hours and hours working on this site, and I didn't get it the way I wanted. I hated the colors, I hated the options, I hated everything about it, but I needed a website. So reluctantly, I launched the website, and it wasn't good. I didn't get any business or any traction from it. The website was horrible. In order to put a .com on there, I had to pay all these huge fees and all these hidden fees. Once I got past all the fees, it would have been thousands and thousands of dollars for just a very simple website. So I ended up taking it offline. Fast forward years later, I called Apollo Aesthetics. When I was getting ready to build my personal website, I decided to heck with it. I'll spend the money. And I didn't care how much it was, anticipating spending thousands and thousands of dollars. And then, when I got the quote from Apollo Aesthetics, boy was I shocked, because the price was super, super low. Monthly payments with a low down payment. I gotta tell you, I've had such a pleasant experience. I'm not building any other websites. I've learned my lesson. I'm going straight to Apollo Aesthetics so they can build it right and they can do everything that I need. Whether you're looking to build a website, design a logo, figure out your hosting, your emails, and social media accounts, Apollo Aesthetics can help you with all of these, including building a shop for you to sell your product online. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to request a quote. That's apolloaesthetics.com.
I present to you 3 of the fiercest subjects ever assembled in the cage of doom. First, the brain-wrenching behemoth, Algebra 2! Weighing in at a mind-boggling 800 pounds. Foreign languages! The multilingual international sensation capable of tossing you clear across the Atlantic. And finally, biology. More ferocious than formaldehyde, she'll dissect you 1 chromosome at a time. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Me too.
I'm in.
Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college. Find out which classes you need at knowhowtogo.org.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation for Education, and the Ad Council.
Now,
Throwback Thursday
on ARN.
So for this Throwback Thursday, since it's the last time we're going to be in Anaheim this weekend, I figured we'll go back to one of my personal favorite Anaheim moments. I was in the building. I wasn't a new Supercross fan, but I wasn't exactly a seasoned veteran either a year ago, but now I know a lot more. Chad Reed went into Anaheim and into the 2014 season just trying to get a win, and honestly, he did that, but in a very dramatic fashion. He entered Anaheim 2 not just after leading the race the following week out at Oakland, but also with a pretty fast bike. But a young hotshot rookie named Ken Roczen tried to take this one away. We take you back to a little over a year ago as Chad Reed tried to hold on to the lead when Ken Roczen was breathing down his neck on the final lap.
What focus and concentration it takes for both riders right now. Chad Reed trying to hold on to it. The crowd here at Angel Stadium, they are responding to the 22 being out front 2 races in a row.
Locks it, gut through the woods. Can't get him there.
Third baseline. The crowd, all 3 layers of this stadium.
The yellow flags in front of them, leveled out too. Stu, Reed gets through there good. Now they got the 77. Oh, will that come into play?
It's Albertson. He's in the way of the leaders.
What are they going to do? He's got to get out of the way. Reed comes up the inside. Now Albertson moves. That could be the difference. It really slowed Roczen up. Here he comes. Chad Reed's done it again.
Chad, congratulations on that win tonight. 2 weeks ago, you told me you were a championship contender. You backed it up tonight. But how did you handle the pressure of having those guys right behind you the whole time?
From a rookie, too. It's, man, that was That was a blast, you know, I didn't feel awesome all day, but I felt decent. I thought they were going to cut the whoops down and make them easy and just make it a goat trail out here. But, man, it's just awesome to be around for a few years and just attack the whoops. This bike, it's awesome in the whoops, man. I just come in there, I feel so comfortable. We gambled a little bit. I went with a different rear tire that I've never rode on, raced with on this bike before, and made a few little tweaks here and there with the suspension. And kind of like James, I listened to his interview and wasn't going to be the fastest guy, but I was going to be the smartest and the guy who got his settings right. And I like to pride myself and my team being the best out here at setting up a motorcycle, and just real proud of this whole Discount Tire, man, 22 Motorsports race team. We're doing all right.
Yeah, they were. Unfortunately, a number of weeks later, Chad would go down and end his season. But in 2015, don't feel bad. He's doing pretty good in 15. No win yet, but maybe in Anaheim this weekend, he could change that. And that's this week's Throwback Thursday, brought to you by Apollo Aesthetics. So we'll see what he does this year. Now, I want to shift gears. We're short on time here. We got about 10 minutes left, so I want to get through some of this stuff pretty quick. And this one's going to take a while. I want to start with this first and foremost. John Force was on a teleconference yesterday, actually, getting ready for the Winter Nationals next week. And if you haven't gone, my friends, you need to be baptized by Nitro. Head out to the Winter Nationals in Pomona next weekend. Truly going to be an experience that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. But John Force was talking there. He's in an interesting position. He's looking for sponsorship still. He has Peak. He has Chevrolet that he announced about a couple weeks ago. Lucas Oil out at the finals out there in Pomona a few months ago. And he's still looking for a few things, and he's working on something. And us in the media, we like to pry, and he said, hey, I'm working on something, but I can't say anything about it. And somebody actually stood up. I'm not saying who, cough, cough, but somebody stood up and said, hey, you mentioned milk at some point. Are you going after, are you having Coca-Cola's new milk line sponsor you by any chance? And John Force replied with this.
I've signed a confidentiality. Hell, I can't tell anybody. NHRA's asked me. But it's a federal government deal, and that's why I know the deal's real. It isn't like someone's promised me a deal, and it could still not happen. Things cannot happen. But I met the president of the company that started the company. He personally told me where we stood and why, and they wrote me a contract that's going together right now, but it's all based on this thing happening. It has happened because the stock's already gone up. And that's about as much as I can say about it. But we're continually chasing new sponsors. I've got JMIs in San Francisco as we speak today. Talking with other groups. We're not done yet. It's just a lot tougher than we thought. And that's why it was so key. I kept telling you I had an announcement at Vegas. Well, we unveiled Peak Antifreeze and Coolant and Blue Death. And then I said we'd have an announcement by SEMA. Couldn't get it done. Couldn't get the bodies approved even though we knew what the deal was. And if I can't get them approved, I can't announce something. And then Lucas Oil, we finally announced it at Pomona. And those deals are what's keep me alive. The Chevrolet deal, like I said, was the icing on the cake. It put me into business. So, I've got my own personal money. I have endorsement monies. I have Mac Tool. I have Auto Clubs. They sponsor all my cars, Auto Club do. So I have extra money there to help fund this dragster. And we're moving ahead. My daughter worked hard to get a shot at racing Brittany, and it would break my heart not to give her that shot. And I had to go. I had to make a move. I'm tied to too many sponsors for the next 5 years. I just sat down one day and I said, what am I really? Is this about money or spending my retirement? I didn't have any money when I started. This is about I am a drag racer. This is all I do. This is all my family does. It's what we do. So, let's get over whether we're going to go racing or not. Let's go, make the move. I made the call, and we're going.
That's John Force right there on a teleconference yesterday, actually. And you can hear the passion in his voice. There was a very realistic chance that John Force and a number of the Force family members and the Force team weren't going to go racing. And John, to his credit, and we found it out in the press conference, that not only did he say, screw it, I'll invest my own money and we'll find sponsors along the way, but he actually said, you know what, hey, I'll hire some of these guys from over here for a couple of race teams that got defunct in the offseason. He hired a bunch of people just to get people jobs, but also to help him out because he needed some help on a few things after he lost a few people to Don Schumacher. So really, I mean, I don't know. It was a very interesting comment, and you can hear the passion and the emotion in his voice. It's something that's very dear to his heart. A bit of good news, great news actually, if you're a fan of racing in general and about just the history of racing. Wood Brothers Racing announced that they're going to be adding some races to their schedule with Ryan Blaney in 2015.
Our normal commitment is with Ford Motor Company and the Motorcraft Quick Lane brands, and we're going to run our 12 races like we've been doing for the last few years. We'll run the speedways and the faster mile and a halves, but we're excited to say that we have been working really hard with our new alliance with Team Penske, and we've tentatively added 6 races to our schedule.
Nice. Wood Brothers, they belong in racing. They've been in racing for 65 years in the Cup Series. Are you kidding me? Seriously. Impressive. And the fact of the matter is, I can't see NASCAR without the Wood Brothers. I can't. It's like seeing NASCAR without the Pettys or the Earnhardts. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. And speaking of the future, the Elliots are going to be involved in NASCAR racing for a very long time. Chase Elliott made the announcement, or excuse me, Hendrick Motorsports made the announcement that Chase Elliott was going to be driving the 24 car after the 2015 season and Jeff Gordon retires. Yes, it's going to be the number 24. Yes, Jeff Gordon's okay with that. He actually said, I want somebody in the number 24 car who will live up to the expectations of winning, and Chase Elliott will do that. He encouraged Chase Elliott to drive the number 24, and that was Jeff's decision, and I think Hendrick backed him on that one, and we'll see that. In 2015, Elliott's going to be running 5 races in the number 25 Napa Chevrolet. No word on what the sponsors are for 2016 for Elliott, but we know that he's going to be driving that number 24, which is Jeff Gordon's old car. Alan Gustafson is going to be his crew chief in the Cup Series, so great news for Chase Elliott there. Chase Elliott actually sat down with the media earlier today and actually talked about what driving the number 24 car means. And will you ever replace Jeff Gordon?
You're never going to replace Jeff Gordon at all. Jeff Gordon is a hero and a legend of the sport, and that's something you're never going to do. And that's you obviously have goals, and I want to try to be successful here and Hendrick Motorsports and in the sport in general. And but you got to know that Jeff is Jeff, and that's something you're never going to be able to compare yourself to. Just to kind of let it all sink in, it definitely hasn't.
Yeah, no kidding. It's a big announcement, and Chase was talking about what's going to happen with these 5 races. What does it mean to him?
It's going to be a big learning curve for me, and I need to make the most of them. Those 5 races are going to go by quick, and being able to have those 5 is big. And Napa being able to do those races this year to get that experience. Obviously, all that was planned before any of the rest of it came about. So just trying to make the most of those races and know that things are not going to get any easier, and just have to realize that and try to use them to get ready to go.
Yeah, and we'll see what Elliott does in 2015. I think he's going to run out. He's going to have some decent runs in 15, but it's about learning. It's not so much about going out there and getting top 5s and top 10s. That's not how you're going to compare him. It's going out there and simply just doing good. Just learn the cars, learn what the adjustments are, learn how to race through the entire race. They're longer races. It's just getting used to everything, and he's the Nationwide Series champ. I think he's going to do it. Seriously, congratulations to this racer. I never thought I'd say her name again on this program. Joanna Long, actually signing a contract to run a handful of races in the Xfinity and the Camping World Truck Series in 2015 for Mike Alfonso Motorsports. She made the announcement yesterday. She competed in the Xfinity Series in 2012 and in 2013, and she's only going to run a handful of races. She's going to be driving the number 03 Xfinity Series Chevrolet at Daytona. That one's for sure. But other than that, kind of a big question mark. Seriously, if you have some money, give Joanna a long ride. Seriously, because she actually is a fantastically, stupidly good driver. It's just that nobody's given her that opportunity. And if she gets a Hendrick Motorsports type car, even a Roush Fenway or a Penske or a Gibbs, watch out, because she will set the world on fire. Seriously. She's a scary good driver, and the fact of the matter is she's been in some pretty shoddy equipment. No offense to her current team, and she's doing the best with what she can, but she knows she's kind of being held back a little bit. On that note, that's the program, my friends. Yeah, it goes so darn quick, doesn't it? I know, right? Baptism by Nitro next weekend. Yes, Winter Nationals coming at you next weekend. Thanks to Brett Metcalfe and Ben Lamay for coming on the program today. Really enjoyed having them on. Good luck Anaheim 3 this weekend, boys. For everybody here at the American Racing Network and Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see you at the track.
Been listening to the American Racing Network, a turn for media company. This is ARN, the Motorsports Authority.